You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
In local news now, the Imperial Security Bureau is asking for loyal Imperial citizens to come forward with information leading to the apprehension of the former Imperial pilot, Dallin Carrain. Known to the media as the Reaper of Janara 3, this former pilot is wanted in direct connection with an attack on the city of Serena, where over 200,000 people tragically lost their lives. And now over to Mil Wackavoy with the sports.
Thanks, Jal. Well, pod racing season is well underway.
My name's Ed Fortune, and I will be your game master for this session of Shadows of the Jedi. I have some absolutely lovely players, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and answer this question. What's the biggest risk your character has taken so far?
Hi, my name's Mim. I'm playing the B1 battle droid Roy. I am a bodyguard, and also my career is as a hired gun. I have an obligation of 40 to the Bar's family. It's not my job to take risks. I follow Bar. I make sure that he doesn't take too many risks.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I'm playing Kay. I'm a human starfighter ace. My emotional strength is my compassion, but my emotional weakness is my hatred. Kay hasn't made any big risks or any big decisions over the past 2, maybe 3 years. His biggest risk he ever did was leaving his last job, and I'll talk more about that in character.
Hi, I'm Ross. I'm playing Dr. Smex Karam Denalawa. I'm a Syrian consular healer. My emotional strength is my compassion, but my weakness is my obstinacy. The biggest risk that Dr. Karam has taken is probably leaving the Syrian world. Well, Empire?
Series?
Probably more than one world, but leaving his home world in the Syrian group. Yeah, because when you're leaving your wives behind and you have to face intergalactic medicine on the frontiers, it's quite a dangerous prospect.
My name is Adam, and I'm playing Tychus Bar, a Basilisk Sentinel Artisan. My emotional strength is my bravery, and my emotional weakness is my recklessness. The biggest risk Tychus has ever taken was when, at the age of 13, he escaped from Roy. Roy doesn't know this, because at that point in time, Roy was down for some diagnostical work, and he snuck out, and along with Carween, his bounty hunter friend, they stole an Imperial speeder bike, went racing around the city pretending to be Imperials, crashed it into an officer's mess, leaped out, shot everyone with stun bolts, then ran away giggling wildly, and was back in bed before Roy's diagnostics had rebooted. Roy doesn't know about this, for pretty obvious reasons. If Roy ever does find out about this, I suspect words will be being had. And the look of betrayal on poor old Mim's face at the moment, it's one of the times that I wish we were a visual medium, because I am... there's going to be sad times ahead. Sad times ahead.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
There are many storms that run across Cinnabar. Some of them are caused by heat dispersing from one end to another, causing thunder, lightning, wind, the usual, tornadoes occurring. But Jedi philosopher Amon-Ra once observed that an object in motion remained in motion until stopped, unless one has access to the Force, in which case anything goes. It's worth noting that Ra, according to some students of Jedi history, was almost certainly beaten to death by an angry mechanic. So, we have to do a little bit of exciting bookkeeping before we start. Can I have everyone roll their Force and a Destiny die, please?
1 dark side from me.
1 dark side from me.
1 light side from me.
And 2 light side from me.
And 2 light side from the Cosmos. And I'd like to remind everyone that Roy has an obligation of 40. I'm going to roll it this time around in a conspicuous way rather than a sneaky hidden way, which is what I've been doing recently. Roy, you're satisfied that in a job well done at the moment. You have successfully gotten Bar out of various situations, and you're pretty sure that he's still got all his limbs.
Activate smart mode.
Bar, would you care to sum up the story so far?
Well, having been offered a job by representatives of Brack of the Hut. We went for a lovely jaunt across the desert. We took shelter in a delightful bar when the weather became inclement. We had to remonstrate with poor old Garrett Tain as he got a little bit overexcitable, as did some of the locals. They got a little bit rowdy. But we calmed things down, and the Doctor has discovered a wonderful new trick. We've come into possession of a couple of Scout speeder bikes. We've had some delightful tiffin, and we're fairly shortly about to head out once again now the weather has cleared up a little.
Cinnabelle is clearly angry, as if on cue, as you are all... Well, what are you doing right now? Because what's happening right now is it's raining very, very hard.
If I recall correctly, where we left, slightly less flippantly, Roy was passing needy patients to the Doctor in an orderly fashion. The Doctor was communing with the cosmos and doing the best he can. Kay was getting the ugly ready, and Tychus was filling his pockets with booze and change. I thought the rain had calmed down a little bit.
It has.
It's not a ruin storm anymore. It is just raining filthy Grek.
It's raining. It's raining. It's red. That's probably just particulate picked up from the atmosphere. That's fine. It's nothing to worry about. It's not like it's crying blood.
Is Dr. Smex still glowing?
Dr. Smex is glowing with the perspiration of hard work at this point. His unnatural glow, which I think came to many of you, in fact all of you, as a surprise.
Especially him.
Yes, including Dr. Smex, has faded, unless you're telling me something otherwise.
I'm doing the best I can for all of these people, but a lot of them had their legs removed at the end of the last episode as well, so...
Only a little.
But in a significant and without toes fashion.
So, Doctor, I can't help but notice that, very briefly, you, alright, okay, no, let me try and, you glowed, they turned to dust, and your head went flashing. So, that's, I don't know many Syrians, but that strikes me as being peculiar behaviour. I don't want to assume, but, what the criffing hell was that about?
Just pass me the med kit, like I asked you to, and I'll sort out the patients, and we'll get to the philosophical questions after we're done, okay?
At this point, Roy wanders over and taps Barb politely on the shoulder. Bar, remember, Mom said it's sometimes rude to ask people about their inner biological workings. Mm-hmm.
It is a wee bit rude, but there's kind of certain questions that are probably best researched on the HoloNet on certain pages that I don't have access to, of course. And there's him glowing, vibrant. There's these weird inclement natives shedding crystals like dust. Am I too sober for what's happening here? Where I'm going. Right, no, I'm going to go with CK because here's the medkit. Roy, if you can help the Doctor, I need some air because this is just a wee. Right.
Yep.
And at that point, the ugly skids as close as you can possibly get it to the bar, and there is whatever is appropriate in the way of a horn going off. Well, I'm not pressing that again.
Dr. Smex, you are covered in a thin layer of white dust. There are a lot of people here. You have essentially lost a medkit's worth of kit. Your doctor's bag is definitely lighter at this point because you can do the glowy thing, and that's lovely, but they're still dehydrated, bruised, possibly missing important parts of their body. Luckily for you, they're not asking questions because they are essentially concussed.
So, Ed, I'm outside. The visibility is not great because of the red rain, but everybody else, have they got back on their speeders and bikes and various different things and are heading out?
As Kay looks at the parking lot, as it were, there are some bikes. There are some bikes still there, but most of them have gone. The Imperial speeders, except for the two that you've stolen, have gone. You didn't really get a good look of everyone else's bikes coming in, so you're not sure if some of these belong to locals. Certainly the Imperial speeders don't, which is why you've nicked them. But the rest of them, have vanished. Everyone, you are the last to leave.
Right. Very, very. He doesn't want to do it, but very tentatively press the horn again.
There are several levers that you don't know what they do, by the way, on this.
Apparently one of them makes Roy do that.
You see Roy standing there, patting his head, going, something's not right here.
K being K could spend this time working out what these levers do, but K being K, he's going to wait until they're going at top speed before he starts pulling them.
Okay.
I think that's our signal to go, everybody. Bar.
It occurs to you, to both Bar and Dr. Smex, that if you stay any longer, you're going to be asked questions, and someone's going to be asked to pay the bill.
A window winds down from just outside the bar, and a voice bellows out, "Recaf! Get recaf!"
Bar, on his way out, turns round, goes very, very quickly back behind the bar, grabs some recaf, basically all of his forearms. One grabs a bottle of wine, the other three grab various, cans of caffeinated beverages, and then he scampers back outside.
You have a large bottle of Crimson Banfer.
I'm going to remind you all that we don't know what exactly caused these people to have this, to have this sudden zombie outbreak. We don't know what they were drinking.
Aye, that's why I've got bottles. We know the ISP was spiking the kegs. That's why I'm not drinking from the keg. These are all sealed. They're popping fresh.
I'm not going to drink from that bottle. Tell you what.
That's fine. Kay?
Thank you. I mean, the way I see it, if we get zombified, then we might not survive. If I fall asleep at the wheel, we're all dead.
Also, if we get zombified but you don't, Doc, you can glow once again beautifully, and we'll all be like, "Okay, so did you see the Doctor in the hole?"
I don't think I did, if I did, I'm trying to pretend it didn't happen.
Can we have this conversation on the inside of the vehicle?
I'm on the inside of the vehicle.
I would like to star wipe at this point. Unless anyone wants to do anything else, you're all in the vehicle as it's moving.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
The vehicle is moving faster than it really should.
As you're heading out of Vin's fort, several things become fairly obvious. You're still going back into that kind of Badlands area.
Yes.
The weather is still very bad. Also, you kind of dropped off here to sleep,
Yes.
and none of you have. Instead, you've
right.
had an adventure, which is great and all, but you're all a bit sleepy. So do not be surprised if you get some black dice in your stocking very shortly.
Kay is drinking too much recaf. It's not a sensible amount. He is Tatooine Truckers style recaf levels. He's
Mechanically, what that means is it means you can get rid of one of those black dice, but at some point you might get two.
at least.
Let us the K, we love and know. See? Drink in his hand.
So at this point, I presume seating-wise, it's like it was before. So Tychus and the Doc in the back, with Roy in the passenger seat and Kay driving, I presume.
The weather is pretty bad, as I have said. The first thing you will notice is there is a bump as Kay just drives over something. Not sure what. The area is getting much rocky. You didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Because literally it was disguised in the ground.
It's dark and I'm tired.
It's dark and it's tired. You didn't see that. Can I have vigilant tests from everyone, please? 2 purple, please.
1 success, 1 advantage for me.
That's 2 failures for Roy. Oh, sorry, no, I've got that wrong. It's not 2 failures. Failure and 2 threat.
Complete wash.
2 success.
Okay, how would you like to spend that advantage?
What's the seed? What's going on? And I'll see if anything leaps out at me at the moment.
Okay, so those of you who got 1 success, you will notice that ahead of you there is a shattered and crashed vehicle. 2 successes, you also notice the pilot is kind of bent over and semi-impaled. You can't quite see from here how bad it is, but he's certainly smashed onto some ruins.
Does it look like we're heading straight for them?
It is looking like you're heading towards a dangerous area.
In which case, I'm going to shout, "Okay, slow it down a little bit. Threat up ahead." And I'm going to use my advantage to give him a boost die to any piloting test.
Okay, I do that. I slow down to just reasonably fast.
Okay, can I have a pilot roll, please?
Yes, indeed. What difficulty do you want?
1 but 2 black.
Okay.
Remember,
Okay, so I'm ignoring
remember
my...
we lose 1 die because it handles like a pig.
Yes, indeed. I'm ignoring one of the blacks because I'm a skill jockey, and I'm getting rid of one of the dice because it drives
And you get a boost from me.
very quickly,
Boost from me for my advantage.
but handles like a pig.
Yeah, it handles like poodoo.
Yes. I'm also using my force dice. So that is 4 successes, 2 advantages, and 2 light side points, which will add to our advantages.
Okay, you can see the scene of the crash now as you slow down. How are you using that advantage?
I think, because I didn't pass my vigilance test at all, it's quite late on that we see it. So there is an almighty skid as I notice it just at the last moment and spin the entire ship all the way around, but end up facing in the right direction and in an easy way to zip off again if needed without any sort of hindrance or anything like that. There's not a great deal else I can use it for at the moment because we're going to get out, I imagine. I stop.
It's a Bowfin.
Yes.
He's still alive. His vehicle is toast. It was at one point a really nice swoop. It's not anymore. You know those kind of novelty Harley Davidsons?
Yeah.
Where they're all like built up and they've got like extra bits on the side and pivoty bits. Mm-hmm. That's what's happened here. Roy, by the way, I hadn't forgotten about your threat, but you are convinced that someone's following you. That, pursuit is happening. You can't see it, but you just know. Can I again have vigilant rolls from everyone? You get an extra blue die on this one because Kay has slowed you down so you can see what's going on.
Difficulty?
The difficulty is 1.
1 success.
2 success, 1 advantage.
Also, 2 success, 1 advantage.
I got a failure and 1 advantage.
We're helping this guy, right?
Of course we are.
Those who got successes, This was a trap.
Okay, so how many advantages do we have to play with in the group? Because I've got an idea. I've got 1.
I've got 1.
None from me.
Okay, so that's 2 advantage. So
I've got
And Mim
one.
has one
Mim's
as
got
well.
1, so that's 3 advantage. So, how about one of those advantages is that trap has been sprung, so there's nothing else waiting for us here at the moment.
Okay.
Second advantage, the Bothan is injured, but he's not bleeding out, which means if we're careful getting him off the ruins, then he'll be treatable by the dock. And the third one is, where his swoops crashed, it's quite easy for us to get round to get him out. So we're not going to have to clamber over any particular dangerous terrain. I mean, it might be a little bit slick from the rain, but we're not having to, climb into a pit or haul the bike out. We can get to him to get him off here quite easily.
What you actually are able to do is, because it's a rope that's been slung between 2 points, you're able to recover enough of the rope to kind of hoist him up pretty much on his own chair, which has become detached. With your mechanic's eye, you quickly notice that you can jerry-rig some sort of trolley, essentially, some sort of stretcher, and it takes a matter of minutes to stretcher him out and get him onto, where are you putting him? Because it's roomy, but it's not very roomy.
Is there anywhere sheltered nearby from the rain that's coming down?
No, this is the Badlands. You can put him in the back of your vehicle, no problem, but if you were leaving him here, then to walk, no.
Right, I think it's probably the back of the vehicle for
Yes.
then. So I suspect that Tychus and Roy, being reasonably strong, will be getting him out and in the back of the vehicle under the watchful eye of the doctor to make sure we don't open any wounds up. And then when he's down there, right, Doc, what can you do for him?
Alright, but we gotta hurry. There's definitely someone behind us.
Can someone move one of those dark side points to the light side, please?
Well, you better let me tend to my patient.
Doc, can you do this while we move?
We're in the back of the vehicle already, aren't we?
Yeah.
Close the door.
I punch it.
No one ever sets a trap without intention of coming back.
Aye, quite right.
You punch it, and yet again, can I have vigilant checks, difficulty 2?
Do you want me to do this one anyway? Because I'm focusing on the patient.
No, if you want to focus on the patient, please make your medical roll. The difficulty on the medical roll is 2. You can get an advantage by taking off most of his clothing.
I'm assuming I'm doing what I can for this poor Bothan either way. So if that's what it takes, I remove clothing from the Bothan.
Okay, it's awkward because there is not that much space, but you've basically taken off his armour and his weapons and put them to one side, and you've cut them off, essentially. So you may take that advantage.
So what you're saying is eventually when we do leave this guy somewhere, and he's not coming with us forever, he's going to be naked and have no weapons. We're good people.
You are very good people.
2 successes, 2 advantage.
Then that will heal two wounds and 1 strain, plus whatever else you get for your various...
Okay, so congratulations, he ain't dying. You have plugged the enormous, essentially the thing that went through his chest didn't pierce anything vital, so you just stopped him bleeding. Well, he wasn't bleeding out, but you stopped him from moving and starting himself to bleed out, if you see what I mean. So he's effectively immobilised and not dead, which is stabilised. He's asleep or unconscious. Vigilant checks.
Can I have a boost dice because I'm already paranoid?
You may indeed.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to be using my Farsi ability. Can I have some sort of boost because I'm not hindered by the darkness or any sort of rain or anything like that? 2 light side, so I can see up to medium with my force sensitiveness.
You're feeling the way.
Yes.
What did people get?
1 success, 1 advantage.
Roy got a triumph.
Nice.
But then 1 failure and 2 threat.
So something amazing happens badly.
That sounds about right for Roy.
Yeah, I got 2 successes and 1 advantage.
On 2 successes and 1 advantage. Let's see. You can see ahead what's going on. Okay, using your kind of dark, long distance vision, you can see that fighting has already broken out between the other gangs. And they're using cover as they try and vie for position. The problem is that the terrain you're in, it's essentially a canyon. You're very close in.
Yeah. Can I ask, who's sitting next to Kay?
Probably Roy.
How would you like to spend that advantage?
I'm just... Roy? Kay has closed his eyes. He's driving along with his eyes closed. And just as you get to a point where he's like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure you need your eyes to drive, he says, there's something up ahead. Fighting. Can you see it?
You can see it. Firstly, how would you like to spend your advantage, apart from being fly?
Can we have spotted it early enough that we are not pulled into the canyon? Can we be essentially...
You are in the canyon.
All right, there's no way out.
There's no way out.
Okay. Have they spotted us? I'd like them to not have spotted us.
We have a triumph.
We do have a triumph.
So, what's the plan, people? You have a triumph?
The triumph is that they've not seen us and we've seen them in good enough time that we can stop here and take stock rather than just rushing headlong into it, because there's trying to win the race and then there's going to get slaughtered in the middle of a massive fight. So I mean, if we see it in time, certainly Barry will be like, right, this is a war zone, let's just pull up for a minute, because I think we need to talk things through. We need to talk through what we're doing next, how we're getting through that. And I mean, I'm sorry to keep coming back to it, but there is things that have happened tonight that we need to talk through, because, I mean, we haven't had chance, and there have been happenings. There have been many happenings.
What happened? I didn't see.
Well, so while they are killing themselves over there,
sorry, just 1 second. We stop the ugly.
So the ugly stops.
Lights go off, everything like that. We power down.
Can I just make a suggestion for the triumph? Mm-hmm. Given the fact that you are in fact a robot and you have robot vision, you can see where certain traps have been laid. It's obvious to you because that's the way your vision works. You're a battle droid. You can see the terrain. You can see where lines have been drawn, where nets have been set up.
Hey, Bar, look, there's a minefield. Doesn't that bring back memories?
It does. Actually, yeah. Fun times.
Oh, your first playpen.
I miss that place. Sharpened you up.
You might want to turn left around the net.
We're not going anywhere right now.
We still have some advantages though to play with.
Yeah.
Great. Well, there was another big van like ours that's been fragged that we can hide behind to give us this.
Give us a little bit of time to take stock. Okay. So, I mean, what happened? I mean, you saw some of this. Garrett was up and about with his arm all weird. Yeah.
Then he stuck it in beer, and when I stun shot him, he giggled and ignored it, and then weird veins spread across him.
Right.
Then we got attacked by a whole load of locals, like something out of a Holovid horror show, covered in crystals and dragging you and the Doctor out like mindless animals.
Yes.
Then the Doctor glowed like a Griffin lighthouse, and the crystals fell off them. Mm-hmm. All the weird grimness went away, and he got covered in dust. The ones that me, V and Roy, shot and killed,
just a little,
turned to black dust, which then moved of its own volition to form a cloud of frightening grimness. Now, right, I'll be honest, I'm reasonably young. Okay. I've never been off Kina Bale. I've never been this far out of Red Yes, really. So, I've never seen anything like that before outside of Xperia games. Now, Kay, Doc, you two are not locals. So, I'm hoping that maybe you could perhaps shine a light on what the carking heck bangers has just been happening.
Roy is stepping over to the clearly agitated Bar, pats him on the shoulder and hands him a juice box.
Oh, thank you, Roy.
Recaf, apple flavour.
I would bet bag of fire opals. that this is an Imperial weapon.
Well, there was that jankin' ISB tool.
I think he's here to test it, because nobody cares about what happens here.
Where'd that feth head go?
One of the bikes was missing. Well, several of the bikes were missing.
Well, if he's come this way, we're near going to find him anytime soon, are we?
Mm-hmm. ISB agents do not buy rounds.
In the distance, you hear an explosion followed by another explosion and some distant screaming.
Roy's going to have a quick look to see whether any of it is coming in our direction. In fact, now Bar's got his juice box, he's mostly going to focus on looking around and making sure that this little conflab isn't going to be interrupted.
Is Roy also checking behind us, following that instinct that something was pursuing us?
Oh, I'm generally just looking all around and keeping an eye, but the explosions have drawn my attention at the moment.
Can I have a vigilance check? Difficulty is 2 + 2 black.
Okay.
The penalties are partially for the darkness and partially for the paranoia.
Oh, well, this isn't good. Yep, that's 3 failure and 1 threat.
There is definitely something coming up behind you. Absolutely convinced there is something darting between the ruins heading towards your position.
Okay, I'm going to jump and push Bar and the doctor down onto the ground.
Oh!
And aim my very heavy gun into the dark, because this is something I can't... If it's something I just know is there, but it's not something I can identify readily, I'm going to be even more freaked out. So this is going to be a moment of, identify yourself, identify yourself,
The darkness does not identify itself.
What's going on, Roy? Are we surrounded? Do we need to go?
We're under attack. I'm going to let loose one shot at where I think it is.
You fire into the darkness.
I fire into the darkness.
They are definitely explosions. There is definitely splintering. There is no screaming, but things do fall apart.
We
There's
are no longer hidden.
There is a creaking sound and a crash.
Did I get it?
A fire has started.
We're going.
Right, okay. But this Bart is looking directly at the doctor. This conversation's not over. We've got to go. Criffin!
Tychus, I'm not ignoring you.
Right.
But things are happening.
We set off. I did not set off at full speed. We are slowly making our way up to a decent speed to pass through the middle of this fight. Roy, keep an eye up front.
But they're coming from the back.
Yes, but they're definitely coming from the front as well. I need your eyes.
It's all right, Roy. Tychus pulls out Clementine, kind of stands over the Bothan that the doctor is working on, pushes the barrel of Clementine out of the window of the back of the Ugly, and uses that as a brace. So he's aiming at. Anything comes from the back, I'll take him. We need your eyes up front, Roy.
Confirm.
Cool tests, please. Just cool tests. This is initiative.
2 advantage.
1 success and 1 advantage for Roy.
1 success and 2 advantage.
3 successes and 1 triumph.
Let me set the scene. As you're pootling at a decent speed, and what pulls up next to you is one of the nicest swoops you've seen. This is shiny and chrome. This has been very well kept, and yeah, it indeed belongs to the Shattered Oath.
This is a glorious target with all the light reflecting off the shiny bits.
Yep, and he's got you in his sights. But fortunately, you're faster. Party, what do you like to do?
Where is it in relation to us, behind us or in front of us?
It's swooping onto the side. It's almost like they've been waiting for various people.
Everybody, I know you told me to keep eyes up front, but I'm pretty sure there's something in my peripheral vision. Can I turn my head?
Target lock, Roy. Target lock. The side that Roy is on, as in the passenger side of us, or the driver's side of us?
Passenger side.
Okay, well, in which case, if no one objects, given that Roy has got his eyes open and his big gun out, I think Roy should take the first turn. And could we use Ross's triumph from his initiative roll to upgrade Mim's shooting test? Because the last thing they expected as they swoop in as prey is to be faced with a battle droid with a huge cannon.
Mim, is that what you'd like to do?
I'd very much like to have them surprised as they look at the passenger grinning and then just see me waving and pointing an arm at them.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh.
Here's the scene. He is smiling at you. He is smiling at you because he has what appears to be a grenade launcher.
Dibs.
Your turn to shoot.
Okay, my suggestion is open fire.
There's a moment of stunned silence. We all see the grenade like, Roy?
It's alright.
Criff on the left, 2 rounds rapid.
Right, so my heavy blaster carbine has a dice pool of 3 yellows.
Oh, so with the free upgrade, that's 3 yellows and a green.
What's the difficulty of this shot? I'm going to be aiming directly at the weapon that he's got.
So, because you're moving at relative speeds, it is 1 difficulty because it's close range, but 2 black because you are moving relatively quickly. I also need to know if you're shooting at them or the vehicle.
I'm going to be shooting at him and the gun because I don't want that to hit me. All of that ends up as 1 advantage.
Oh no.
So if I could spend my advantage in that I haven't been able to injure him or hurt him, but I have possibly blown his shot out of the air maybe, if we were both firing at each other, or I've shocked him enough that he's had to recoil, so we have a bit of a breather from that shot.
Okay, so what he does...
Will surprise you.
What he does is surprise me by when my dice utterly betray me. You literally shoot the grenade launcher out of his hand.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy with that.
He'd already primed it, and there's an explosion. It goes off behind him, and he's spinning out of control and out of sight.
I totally intended to do that.
It looks really cool, and George Lucas would have spent at least £12 on it in the special effects workshop, because that's how that works. Yeah, you it's like
Oh, you get your money's worth for imagination visuals on this game.
The explosion also reveals that they are other swoops that were in hiding, and yes, they are all lovely shiny chrome bikes, which seems to be the thing that the Shattered Oath do. They seem to really like their vehicles. Party.
I would like to try something if no one objects. So, as their swoop goes spiralling out, and the grenade launcher goes flipping in the air out of his hands, Tychus kind of reaches out unconsciously and will flip a light side point to use force move to grab the grenade launcher out of the air and bring it into the vehicle. He doesn't realise what he's doing. He's taking aim, sees the grenade launcher go up, and kind of just reaches out almost unconsciously. And yeah.
Is this before or after it goes off?
I thought that the grenade went off backwards.
It's launched, so what you've grabbed is the tube. You've grabbed the launcher, which is still smoking and slightly on flame because it's not been fired properly. But it's cool because you've pulled it out of, it's a really cool effect. Well, you grab it, and if you had any grenades.
Yeah, but we have, and he suddenly kind of looks at his hand like, what just happened?
You know exactly what should have happened. That should have taken your arm off. There's no way that should have flown into your hand. You just wanted it because it's really shiny. It is really shiny, by the way. Like it's got skulls on it. It's really cool.
Mm. But yeah, so the rest of his turn is just kind of looking bemused at this grenade launcher that's he's grabbed.
I mean, you'd probably have to give it a bit of a fix, but it looks really cool. I mean, many people don't waste their time customizing their throwaway weapons, but this looks amazing, frankly.
No weapon's a throwaway weapon if you look after it properly. Amateurs. 2 of the swoops open up,
and they're attacking your vehicle, I'm afraid, because they're absolute monsters.
Righto.
Terribly well. Blaster fire patters across the back of the hull, doing absolutely no damage, but certainly you've paid your money's worth for the hull itself. A second shot does get through, and there's a whine of hydraulics as it strains and labours. It takes 2 system strain, and it is back to the party.
I would like to go. I imagine you're healing.
I imagine so.
Yeah, so I would like to go if that's alright. Now we're being hit, I would like to do evasive manoeuvres, which will last until the start of my next turn, which is a piloting roll. difficulties 2, is that?
Difficulties 2.
Yeah.
1 black.
Okay, I ignore black dice on there because I am a pilot, a skill jockey. Okay, so that is 1 success and 3 advantages. They have an extra difficulty until the end of my next turn to hit us. I would like to spend the advantage on the next person to shoot because that gets them into a situation where
Can I make a slight suggestion?
Where's add?
I was going to say, it might be the same one I am. That's only manoeuvre.
Yes.
If for your action you then go for gain advantage, it means that they get the penalty to shoot us, but we don't get the penalty to shoot back.
Oh, yes, let's do that.
So they're the same speed as us, so it's a 2 difficulty penalty test.
Okay, so that's 2 threat and 4 successes and 1 triumph.
Threat. Possibly. What's our system strength threshold?
It's quite high. It's about
It's 12 at the moment.
Well, maybe that's system strain because we've been.
Can I make an environmental suggestion?
Yes, of course.
You see, just near a roost of, you're not sure what they're called because you call them really scary bats, but they're massive and they're roosting. It'd be awful if someone disturbed those.
Yes, let's go for that. Yeah, we will most definitely just very gently move to the edge of the canyon just to clip the nest, just very gently.
It reaches out. Roy and Bar, these are Charblin bats, also known as carnage bats, and they are red, they have gossamer wings, they have massive fangs, and no is the answer. No. They're just made of no.
And they are presumably going for the people behind us.
Yeah, there's lots of them as well. It's a swarm. There's like lots of tiny ones, and then there's some huge ones as well, because like the mummy one, the mother ones are massive, and then they have lots and lots of tiny little male ones that are everywhere, and they're awful. And sometimes you have to, like, if you're going really quickly, you just can't get the wipers to work.
Oh, ew.
There is the sound of screaming and carnage as you skillfully get out of the way of your enemies and also out of the canyon. You can see ahead of the vehicles, everyone scatters. Everyone is getting out of range of everyone else. Everyone is, as soon as you are out of this narrow passageway, you see various vehicles. You miss the really weird vehicles of the Americas. You didn't see them, but you can see them in the distance, pelting away as quickly as possible. You see some of the filmable swoops still there, still pelting it away, and in the distance, an Imperial bike. And with your journey ahead, we'll leave it there.
Before our adventure ends, and the episode wraps up properly, we'd just like to say a wee thank you and draw attention to 2 particular scoundrels that are haunting the galactic outer rim. So, first of all, we'd like to thank for his very generous contribution, nor that we're going to ask exactly where he got the credits from, Draxel Pinopolis, who is, according to his ISB report, a gambling, double-gun swinging, potentially force-sensitive son of a criff. And you understand that he's joined by someone, I think another colleague of mine might be in a better place to let you know about his compadre.
Yeah, I just wanted to say everything I learned, and this is difficult, everything I learned about flying a starfighter, I learned from Lisbeth Starlighter. And if you ever tell anybody that, well, there's nothing I can do, but if there was something I could do, I would do it. Thanks for everything.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system from Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music is Actionable by BenSound, and our outro music is Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. For more information about all the other music, sound effects and everything else used in the show, please see the show notes for specific bits and the credits page of our website for more information. Speaking of the website, we are all over the internet at present. We have a web page, we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, we have a Discord, links of which are all in the show notes, and we can most commonly be found on Twitter at Force Majeure Pod. So come along and interact with us, we'd love to hear from you all. We also have a Patreon as well, details contained in the show notes if you want to support us that way. If you fancy leaving us an iTunes review, we'd also be very grateful for that. Lets us know that we're telling the stories that you all want to hear. Until next time, may the Force be with you.